So the format this evening is that I'll be talking for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then I want to open it up because I want to hear from everyone, and I want to learn from you and hear your reflections and questions so that we can all learn and we can all grow. A story is told about a Hasidic Rebbe, absent-minded. He would wake up in the morning and forget where he left his clothes. I actually can identify with this. One evening, his wife decided that she would jot down where he had placed them. The next morning, with his wife's help, the Rebbe found himself completely dressed. But lo and behold, he looked into the mirror and recognized that he could not find himself. And for the rest of his life, that was his mission. The mission of searching for who he really was. This evening, this Motzei Shabbat, I'd like to discuss modern, or what I call, open Orthodoxy. In the spirit of the Rebbe, our goal is to find out who we are and what we're all about. We'll do so by outlining in general terms the mission of Judaism, and will then attempt to show how modern Orthodoxy is distinct in achieving this mission. In our next session, in a couple of weeks, we'll pinpoint some of the specific differences between modern Orthodoxy and the Orthodox Rite, or sometimes called the Black Hat or the Haredi world. The mission of Judaism is to bring God and God's system of ethics, what is sometimes called ethical monotheism, into the world. Mission statement should be very brief and very to the point. The mission of Judaism is to bring ethical monotheism into the world. Nachmanides, Ramban, insists that the opening narratives of the Torah teaches the idea in his words, shegeresh oto chet'o misham. Sin results in exile. Indeed, the first stories in the Torah are about estrangement from God. In each of these narratives, human beings are described as separating from God, as literally turning their face from God. For example, let's take the first narrative, chapter 3 in the book of Genesis, Perek Gimel. It's the story of Adam and Eve's sin. And then the Torah says, after they partake of the forbidden fruits, Vayitchabei ha'adam v'ishto mipnei Hashem Elokim. And Adam and Eve hid from the face of the Lord God. Note the word mipnei, mipnei. The key letters are, of course, Pei Nun Yud, Pnei. Literally, they were hidden from the face of God. The estrangement resulted in their no longer feeling God's presence. Perek Dalet, chapter 4 of Sefer Breshit of the book of Genesis. In the aftermath of Cain's murder of Hevel, the Torah says these words, Vayetze Cain milifnei Hashem. And Cain went out, literally, from the face of God. Once again, there's sin, resulting in estrangement, resulting in turning on the face of God. Another form of that word, panim, vayetze Cain milifnei Hashem. The Torah then describes in Perek Vav in chapter 6 the generation of the flood, which suffers the ultimate estrangement. What is the ultimate estrangement? Death itself. There the Torah says, Vatishachet haaretz lifnei ha'elokim. And the land, the earth, was destroyed from the face of God. Here, humankind literally turns away from the face of God. That's what Ramban, that's what Nachmanides means when he says, Ad shegeresh oto chet'o misham. That the first narratives in the Torah talks about sin resulting in gerush. Shegeresh oto chet'o misham, resulting in this estrangement, resulting in turning from the face of God. It is then that Abraham and Sarah in Perek Yud Aleph, at the end in Perek Yud Bet, come on the scene. Their mandate. What is their mandate? What is the mandate of the father and mother of Judaism? Their mandate is to fix the mistakes of the prior generations, to bring God back into the world. They do so in stark contrast with the Dor HaFlaga. It's an absolute contrast with the generation of dispersion. There, in chapter 11, the Torah says that humankind built a tower. But why did they build the tower? What was its purpose? The Torah actually put forth the purpose. They said, Hava nivne lanu ir, we're going to build a city. You think it's Yerushalayim, it's not. The Migdal, you think maybe that's the Bet HaMikdash, and it's not. It sounds almost like a certain chosen peoplehood. Of course, it's not the chosen peoplehood. It's not the chosen peoplehood because they say, why are we going to build this Migdal? Are we going to build it so that it be a social center for people who are vulnerable? Are we going to build it so that people who are sick can be cured? Are we going to build it in order to reach out To the vulnerable, no. The Torah says, let us build it, and the words of the Torah are, V'naseh lanu shem. We're going to build it for self-aggrandizement. Underline the word shame, shin mem, in your minds. We're going to build it to create and build a name for ourselves. This is in stark contrast to Abraham and Sarah. They come into Eretz Israel, they come into Canaan, and we're told that Abraham builds a mizbeach, he builds an altar, and he calls out, not in his name, not in Sarah's name, not in their name, but Vayikra b'shem Hashem. They call out, he calls out in the name of the Lord. And to the careful reader of the Bible, that terminology is not a coincidence. When one reads Vayikra b'shem Hashem, one is reminded of the prior narrative. The prior narrative is there's a city and there's a migdal. But they build that migdal in order to make a name for themselves. Listen to the verbiage. V'naseh lanu shem. Here, Abraham and Sarah fix the mistake. And ultimately from them is going to come another city, Yerushalayim. And there's going to come another migdal, and that's going to be the Bet HaMikdash. But the goal of that city and the goal of that Bet Mikdash, as is blueprinted by Abraham and Sarah, is not they build the Mizbeach for their own name, not V'naseh lanu shem, but Vayikra b'shem Hashem. That's the mission of Abraham and Sarah. It's to fix the estrangement, to reconstruct the relationship with God, to reconnect with God. And it comes to a crescendo when Yaakov struggles with a mysterious being, Vayeyavet ish imo. And it's in this struggle that he is given an additional name. And that name is, of course, Yisrael. And this is the first time that the word Israel, that the first time Yisrael is found in the Torah. One of my teachings over the years has been that the headquarters for understanding a concept is to look at the first time the concept is mentioned. The headquarters for understanding a word in the Torah is looking at the first time the word is mentioned. So he's struggling, and he is called Yisrael. Now, the Torah says, he is called Yisrael, ki sarita im Elokim v'anashim batucha. Yisrael is the language. I wrestled with God, I wrestled with Elohim, however you translate that, and I overcame, I succeeded. But could it be that Yisrael is a compound of two words? You can look at names or descriptions of who we are. Yisrael, El is the name of God. El. That's in the text. Kisarita in Elohim. But could Yisrael be simple play on the word Yashar El? God has Yosher, and in that spirit, we should have Yosher. Could it be a play on the words Shir El, that we're supposed to sing to God? I would suggest that it's a play of two words, Shur El. Shur. Shin, Vav, Resh. Shur in the Bible means to sing. Ashurenu v'lo karo. Banot sa'ada alei shur. The very name Yisrael means, God says your name is Yisrael. You carry a name Israel, which means to see God. The very name Yisrael carries the message of our mission, to see God, to feel God's presence, to bring God back into the world.